Hello, welcome to Mont Park Model Railway. This is the third in a series where we delve into my late uncle's European collection. This particular session is looking at some rolling stock from the KPEV, or the Royal Prussian Railway, which later became Germany. So we'll start by having a look at the locomotive. So this particular model was really manufactured by Liliput, an Austrian manufacturer that existed between 1948 and approximately 1988. And what we've got here is the loco was found in two boxes. So it was a box of parts and we had to repair it and reassemble it. So we'll start with the tender, which is where the little electric motor is. And this is a super impressive bit of engineering. And this motor is specific to this model. What we found is the motor itself wouldn't even rotate, despite connecting power directly to it. Upon much closer inspection with quite a strong magnifying glass, we found that the commutator, which transfers power to the coils of the motor, was severely damaged and burnt out. And then as we go to the next photograph, we'll find that the actual segments have actually shorted out and touching each other. So that's basically unrepairable. So eventually on the internet, I found a gentleman by the name of Ralph in Germany that has a wealth of Liliput spare parts, and he had one of these very specific motors for this particular locomotive. And so very grateful for Ralph, who was able to purchase one of those replacement motors. Thank you, Ralph. So we got the tender motor repaired, or motor replaced, I should say, except when we tried to run it on the track, the main locomotive drive mechanism would just seize up. So on the left-hand side, everything looked all aligned. However, when we turned it over to look at the right-hand side, this was a different story. And probably you can see I'll put a yellow line here to show that the three wheels, main drive wheels, aren't all aligned together. So to correct this problem, what I soon learned is, after some research on the internet, not only do the wheels on each side all need to be at the same location, as in they all need to be aligned on each side, but the wheels from one side of the loco to the other need to be exactly quarter of a turn offset from each other, as in the wheels on the left side need to be exactly 90% offset from the wheels on the other side. Otherwise, even in a real loco or in a model, they all eventually just bind together. And so that was a bit of a challenge, but fortunately the center axle was already perfectly aligned, and it was just a matter of realigning the front and rear wheels or axles. So I believe the technical term for doing that is quartering, as in to make sure that the wheels on one side are exactly 90 degrees offset, or quarter of a circle offset to the wheels on the other side. Unfortunately, we then also found that the holes that secure those to the wheels are very worn and are elliptical. As we can see with this one, it's quite worn and probably has a risk of failure. So the loco drive mech realigned, and then we're back at the tender and found that the spring tensioning for the power pickups off the centre bogies also needed attention. This is a little bit of a seesaw back and forth between the tender and the loco. As we're getting closer to getting the loco reassembled, one of the instructions from Lilliput says make sure these links are the right way. And sure enough, one link was there and the other link was missing or not connected. So that also needed to be reconnected. And I found the missing link, and it was very fiddly to get back in, but quite satisfying to see that detail restored. Now with it all reassembled, we'll just make sure everything still moves freely. Okay, get ready for a running session. The model of the locomotive we're running here today was manufactured by Liliput. This is a company in Austria, and probably around the 1980s. And the quality of this model is quite outstanding, having worked on it firsthand. Both the main running gear of the locomotive and the tender and the motor are really quite impressive. Especially representing is from the Prussian or German railways from about the 1920s, and these were a very short run, probably only less than half a dozen, and they were particularly designed for express passenger trains. Okay, the rolling stock we have here, the passenger carriages, were manufactured by Fleischmann. As best I can tell, they too were, as models, were manufactured between 1980 or 1983. And the 1983 one would have been a limited release. And the real life coaches that they're modelling, as best I can tell, are from the KPEV, or the Royal Prussian Railway Administration, and they would have run between 1935 to 1920. Yep, so in reality, if you've been able to follow that babble, that this locomotive was probably unlikely to have pulled these coaches in real life, because the coaches were decommissioned about the same year the locomotive was manufactured. But hey, could be that that locomotive was going out on its first test run, so they just coupled up some obsolete coaches were laying around. That suits me. Anyway, enjoy the running session.